Introducing the Party Mix 2 and Party Mix Live. In my opinion, one of the best entry-level products for beginner DJs, kids, and anyone that just wants to have a go at DJing. This product is probably one of the best options to be looking at, so we're going to take a closer look. Welcome back, Jamie Hartley here from Crossfader, and in today's video I'm taking a look at the brand new Numark Party Mix Live, which is also very similar to the Numark Party Mix 2. Both of these products work with laptops, they work with iPhones and iPads, and they are a great solution for any beginner DJs and especially any parents buying controllers for their kids. This is a great entry into the world of DJing, and in this video I'm going to walk through what all the features do and what you get in the box, and also some of my opinions at the end. So if you don't want to watch through what all the buttons do, jump to the end if you just want my personal opinions on whether you should buy this and who it's for. Each of the products come in at a really respectable price, and I can guarantee if you're searching online for beginner DJ equipment on places like Amazon, it's these products that are going to be coming up time and time again. Please remember to always like, comment, share, subscribe to help us keep making videos just like this one. But without further ado, let's get stuck in. In the box of the Numark Party Mix 2 and Party Mix Live, you'll find a USB cable to connect to your laptop. You'll get an aux cable to connect to external speakers, and if you have, in this case, the Party Mix Live, you'll also get the power bank to power the unit. Please note, if you only have the Numark Party Mix 2, you won't have the power cable as you don't need it. It's powered just by USB. So if you are wondering whether to purchase one or the other, if you don't want to have to carry an external power cable and you're not bothered about having the speakers there, then just go for the Numark Party Mix 2. To connect the unit, it's a simple case of getting your USB cable, plugging it into your device, whether it's a laptop or your iPad or phone, running Algoriddim DJay. On a laptop, you can run Algoriddim as well, or you can use Serato DJ Lite, which is a free software. Virtual DJ is also supported, as well as Serato DJ Pro, which is a paid upgrade. If you have, in this case, the Numark Party Mix Live, it needs to be powered by the power bank, so just plug it in and turn it on via the switch here on the side. If you have some headphones, they can be plugged in on the left-hand side, as well as your main output speaker. If you want to use external speakers, you can plug the cable in here and connect to an external speaker device. You can decide to turn these speakers along the top off or on just with this switch here. Now, when starting out as a DJ, you're going to need some music. Now, if you're lucky enough to have downloaded music prior to owning your controller, then that's great. You can play the music you've downloaded in your DJ software of choice. However, if you don't own any music yet, you can use certain streaming services. So both in DJ Pro and in Serato DJ Lite and in Virtual DJ, there are streaming platforms that you can subscribe to for an external fee. Platforms such as Tidal, Beatport Link, BeatSource Link, and SoundCloud Go are all supported with the Numark Party Mix 2 and Party Mix Live, so you can get millions of tracks, access to them, play them at any point. Just make sure you have an internet connection to do this. Let's now run through the buttons, pads, knobs, jog wheels, and all the features that these controllers have to offer. Starting off with our transport controls down here at the bottom of each of our decks. These transport controls allow you to play a song, pause the song, play again, and then cue the song back up. A cue point is a point that you can determine in the track to always go back to restart your transition or your mix, or to get 2 tracks in time. You also have the sync button, so if we have one track playing and we play another one, it's kind of out of time, let's hit sync. The software will take control and lock the 2 tracks in time. If you want to turn sync off, however, you'll have to use your mouse and click the off button here and here. Just to the right of these controls, we have the tempo adjust. Bringing it down will speed the track up. The opposite way will slow the track down. When we're speeding up tracks or slowing them down, it's worth noting that you have a key lock feature here in Serato DJ Lite, and there is also a key lock in Algoriddim DJay as well. I'd recommend turning this on for anyone just starting as a DJ, because you won't get this higher pitch or lower pitch sound when nudging the track. The jog wheels just above are there to help you control the music, to nudge it in time or even to scratch with. Now, one thing I will say is these jog wheels are very light, so be careful just how much they run away from you. I would recommend when using the jog wheels, keep hold of them and create movements like this. can use the jog wheels in this way to correct the timing of tracks if you're not using sync. Jog wheels also have this printed strip on, which is great for if you're learning to just do a baby scratch. You can scratch over the 12 o'clock position and keep your cue point at that position. So that's just an introduction to how you would baby scratch and cue a track up that way. Focusing on the mixer section of the controller, we have a nice large browse knob at the top. You can click this in to scroll back to all of your crates or your playlists, click it in again to go inside one of the playlists, and then just scroll left and right and load tracks by using the buttons underneath. It's as simple as that. Then to the side of these, we have our EQ and gain controls. So these two knobs here control the bass frequencies. If we play a track and take this down, we lose the low end of the music. If we take the treble down, we lose the high end of the music. And these are common controls found on all pieces of DJ equipment. On other pieces of equipment, you may be used to seeing 3 EQ controls. On here, we just have 2. But it's great for just starting out because you're thinking about the lows and the highs of the music when blending tracks together. You also have a gain control at the top, which is another level control. This is just in case one track is produced slightly louder than another. You can control the individual track's level when both up faders are at the top. The up faders are your individual volume controls for blending music in and out and doing basic mixes. And below that we have the crossfader, which can be used for blending or cutting. You can change the settings for the crossfader inside the Serato DJ software. If you have a look under mixer, you can see we have a crossfader curve. If you have it on fast, I'd recommend that if you're doing any cutting or scratching. It means that it will come in full volume. When you come off that edge, if we have it on slow, you'll get a faded volume across. Now please be aware, if you do have this setting on slow and you've knocked your crossfader here, this track will always be louder than this track. And vice versa. So I would recommend keeping this setting on fast, and definitely when you're starting out, it's nice to use the up faders to mix. Some DJs like to use a crossfader, but I'd say it's a really good practice to get into mixing with your up faders and cutting and scratching with the crossfader. Just above each up fader we have the filter control. This allows you to filter the track down and filter the track up. This is a common feature used by DJs and found on nearly all pieces of DJ equipment. Lastly, in the center of the mixer, we have the headphone level, which is how loud the music will come through the headphones. And you can choose whether to cue the track up on the left-hand side or the right-hand side, or both tracks in the headphones at once. So what you would do as a DJ, you would have this track playing, you would activate the opposite side, cue it up in your headphones before pressing play and mixing. You could check that they're both on time by putting both headphone cues on, and then go for the mix. You could take longer than that to mix, obviously, but that is the main process of mixing from one track to another. Just underneath we have the main volume control, which will control the sound output from the internal speakers on the Numark Party Mix Live. You can turn that level up and down. The speakers do go to a pretty decent volume, I will say. If you're just using this in a bedroom and you've just by yourself, or you might have a few friends with you, it's loud enough to hear what you're doing, not annoy your neighbors, but hear the sounds nice and punchy, nice and clear. They don't sound too tinny. They've got a good little low end to them, which is important when it comes to DJing and mixing, to hear that as well. So I'm very impressed with the speakers that are inbuilt into the internals of this. Lastly, we have the performance pads. We have 4 different pad modes to toggle through, starting with hot cue, loop, sample, and effect. Hot cues are really useful. You can set these at any point in the track and they will save to that individual track. So when you next load it, you can easily jump to different points in the song. You can set a new hot cue by just tapping an empty pad. You can delete a hot cue by holding pad mode and tapping that pad again. You have 4 there. You've got the same on the opposite side for the next track. Loop mode, we have an automatic 8-beat loop, 4-beat loop, 2-beat loop, and 1-beat loop. Tap it again to undo the loop. Next we have sample mode. Samples can be found here in Serato DJ Lite, and we've got a few already preloaded. These are usually common effects used by DJs to fill the gaps between mixes and just create some atmosphere during the mix. Lastly, we have the effects. We can find the effects in Serato DJ Lite here with this tab, and these ultimately activate the different effects available. You can use the drop down to choose between different effects and then simply hold the pad to activate that effect. Just skip back into the track. You can combine these effects, and then you can change with the pad number 4 the beat fraction, which is how often the effect is applied. On the opposite side, you can hear I've got an echo set up. I could change the beat fraction, and these work post faded too. If you hold it, one of the great things about the Party Mix range of controllers is they have an inbuilt light show with these 3 small disco flashing balls along the back. Now this is great obviously if you're just playing in your bedroom, especially for kids just wanting to have a bit of a party in their bedroom. These are great. So we can toggle between different modes using the switch on the side. There's a little button that we can press. So when we have tracks playing, we can toggle this button, and we've got a few different modes. We've got one, as you can see here, with the lights flashing to sort of the volume of the music, all 3. We can have the lights following each other and have a slower version of that as well. You'll also notice if we go into the settings of Serato DJ, there's this lighting control under the mixer panel. Now if you just toggle the lights until this appears, we can now choose different programs from Serato DJ Lite as well. So there's a few great options in there just for creating a bit of atmosphere, especially if you're just playing with a few friends. It's great for kids if they have some friends over and they want to have a little party in their bedroom. As I mentioned, there is a paid upgrade to Serato DJ Pro if you really found yourself wanting to expand on the features that you want to access in the DJ software. And also one of the big things with Serato DJ Pro is you can record your DJ sets directly in the software too. So that's something to think about in the future. There may be a paid upgrade there. So not only does this controller work great with a laptop, you can use a USB cable and a lightning adapter to connect it to iPads and iPhones as well, running the DJ Pro application. And this is a great option, especially for a lot of the younger generation who are used to using, say, Algoriddim DJ on an iPad. They can now plug it into a controller and have physical controls over some of these touchscreen buttons. So everything just maps out as normal. You can browse, you can load tracks, you can queue, sync the tracks up. You can use all the EQs as standard. You can still use the touchscreen to set off sequences and all sorts. You could set up a loop. And it's just a case of getting familiar with the pad layout. We've got all the usual pad modes, just like in Serato DJ Lite as well. We've got hot cues, we've got loops, we've got the sampler, and we've got some effects too. So this is a really great option, especially for a lot of those kids, like I say, that are used to using this application, whether it be on an iPad or an iPhone. As long as you've got the adapter, you can plug it in and get mixing right away. So what are the key things you need to know about these controllers? Well, first and foremost, they are very competitive in their price. Neither controller is going to break the bank. Obviously the differences are you spend that extra money to get the powered speakers inbuilt. So if you don't already have speakers that you can plug in to your device, they need to be wired speakers. Remember, you can't use something like a Sonos to connect to DJ controllers because there will be a lag between what you're doing on the equipment and what you're hearing. So if you need those speakers, then this is a great option to spend that bit of extra money. It's all nice and compact, built into the same unit. The speakers are of a good volume and they'll work great just in a small bedroom if you're just playing some tunes for yourself and don't want to disrupt the neighbors. I really think these controllers are perfect for any kids, anyone who is looking to buy their kid their first piece of DJ equipment, this is a great solution. It's small, it's compact, it's easy to use, and it plugs and plays with iPads and iPhones, or you could let them plug it into your laptop if you wanted to do that, but you've got the options there. So this is a great solution for kids. Quite a few of the other controllers on the market around this price bracket that are maybe aimed at a similar market, in my opinion, feel a bit too complex, whether it's too complex to get some sound out of them and set up, whether it's too complex because there's too many features on there and pads that do all sorts and hidden modes. This does what it says on the tin, and it does it well. It's got all the essential things that you need when starting out as a DJ. All you want to do is learn how to mix a couple of tracks together, and it's got the features and performance pads that you need to do that. And it's a great way to introduce you to the trajectory of what you're going to be learning in the future if you decide to upgrade. Reason being is the layout's very familiar across from this to higher end equipment. The feel of it is very familiar as you move up the equipment, and suddenly all of the features aren't going to change when you buy your next piece of DJ equipment. All that's going to happen is you might get access to a bit more and a bit more. So for that reason alone, I think this is a great starting point. Now, if you're maybe a bit older, have a bit more disposable income, and you're willing to invest in a bit of DJ kit because you know this is for you and you want to take on DJing more, then look at some of the higher price bracket controllers and just take that step up. Don't go in with something that's sub £100 or £120 for this, for example, knowing that you're going to upgrade in 2 months' time. Look a bit further up the market. But like I said, buying this for kids, buying this for someone, yourself, if you just wonder if DJing's for you, then you're not going to break the bank and you're going to have a lot of fun with it. I hope you've enjoyed this review. If you have any questions, please drop them in the comments below. If you want to see this in action, I've put a quick mix together so you can see me actually using the controller and some of those features that have been mentioned. Thanks again for watching, and please do subscribe. It helps us make more videos like this. I'll see you in another review video very soon.